right, welcome to another episode of Can You Connect? And this is Mr.WalkThatWalk. And of course, this episode we're going to be going over dating somebody who's dealing with alcoholism, addicted to marijuana, somebody addicted to caffeine, somebody addicted to opioids, and somebody addicted to tobacco. So the first person we're going to be going over, or the first substance we're going to go over is people who are addicted to alcohol. Our first person is going to be a Caucasian lady. So she reported that every time she's going on an outing or date with somebody, there's always liquor involved. There's always drinking. So they're going out to dinner, they're drinking, they're going out to happy hour, to those type of events, so that she could get her fill. And she reported always going after, let's say, the guy who was the party guy, because that made her feel more comfortable with drinking around them, and they're probably down to drink as well. And she reported that alcohol made her happy, excited, pretty high, but it did trick her to while dating, because she thought that she had so much chemistry with these people, but she didn't really have a lot of chemistry with them due to her being, drunk or intoxicated off the liquor. And due to that often causes a lot of hookups. So she often, you're drinking, you're doing things, maybe, especially you're intoxicated, you're doing things that maybe you're usually not doing normally. And we're going to go over another Caucasian lady who mentioned that her father was an alcoholic. And that she started around 13, and I think ended around 30. And she stopped drinking around 30. She had an obsession with drinking. So even when she went out to, let's say, a concert, once she has her first drink, now her mind is going to be preoccupied on how she's going to get her next drink, to the point where she's not even enjoying the concert anymore. But when she worked on cutting alcohol, it didn't make things better. She actually was isolating. She was less motivated, tired, having thoughts of taking her life. But due to intervention from her friend encouraging her to get help, that with the AA meetings and finally opening up and being honest about what she's going through and what she has, that helped her through it. But she still dealt with a bit of denying that she was an alcoholic. But she also mentioned that her support group helped as well. Our other person is going to be a Nigerian woman. So she mentioned that she was studying for the bar, which made her sad and stressful. And due to this, she started drinking pretty often, because it's a high requirement for her to receive her degree and get her degree, especially from her family. And she also mentioned that her self-esteem came with what she accomplished. So if you're struggling and having concerns with getting to that point of getting your degree, then she ended up getting caught up with drinking and liquor. But she mentioned when she got help, it made things a bit better. And we have a African American woman. She mentioned that she would go to a place that involved, brunch. So brunch had bottomless mimosas. So she would go out with friends drinking, and they'll be drinking all day. And she would often stay out all day, all night, and reported starting when she was 14 with her friends. So she's more of a so it seems like she's more of a social drinker. She would drink before school, drink during school, and after school. It was a way for her to escape from what she's feeling. And, due to her feeling alone. So she was feeling alone, sad. But it didn't really get bad until she got to her 20s is where she got worse. And to the point where she got depression and thought nobody loved her. And once she stopped drinking, she found support. It helped her work on expressing how she feels and work through her emotions rather than drink her emotions away. There is a biracial male. So he mentioned he used to be real kind to people and considerate, but once he started drinking, he started breaking people's heart. He reported you getting a bottle delivery service, which I never heard of. Apparently, they deliver liquor to you. So he always had access, he always was able to get liquor due to that service. And he would get money from a disability. So he always had money coming in to where he always had the liquor coming in. And he would always order a 16 ounce of vodka and drink the whole thing that day. So due to that, because he had that urge to drink and that want to drink, and his family had issues with that. It was very always a challenging time when he would come around. So his family definitely wanted him to get help and wanted him to get better. And they had a consistent battle due to that. Because he just wanted to drink all his problems away due to witnessing abuse from his parents, his father abusing his mother. That was hard for him to deal with. And due to that trauma, that definitely led him to drinking. And our next person, I believe, was the Caucasian male. No, he was a Native American. Well, he was mixed. He was actually biracial too. The other guy was black and white. This guy is Native American and white and Caucasian. This guy will often drink 15 drinks per day. So I think it was beer. 15 drinks. And he will often start out with 5 drinks and then increase it from there. But this person was a bit different from everybody else because they get a bit aggressive towards their family and friends. So he was more challenging to deal with than, let's say, the other people we went over because of his aggressiveness. And he suffered from a lot of grief from his father passing away, then his mother, then his older brother. So rather than getting help through grief counseling, he would drink his, depression away and get upset when his family encouraged or challenged him to get better. So that one person is kind of dangerous. So when somebody's being that dangerous, is you kind of gotta let the system handle them so they're not hurting and damaging the family. No worse than they're already doing. The next one is going to be on marijuana. Our person is going to be a Caucasian male from the UK. He reportedly hanging out with older kids, so who introduced him to it. And they will often smoke together and end up skipping class and failing class, and because he smoked at 15, so he was high before school, smoking at school, and after dinner he would go out and smoke. So he was very addicted, like if we're paying attention to his behavior. And he would usually get sad. When he gets sad, he would just go smoke. However, due to his addiction and due to the symptoms of marijuana, he gained panic attacks from it. At times became delusional, at 17, thinking that he was under attack or going to be attacked, and very paranoid about that. Our next person is a African American male. He mentioned losing someone he loved, due to making his main focus be marijuana, to the point where he wouldn't be taking care of his hygiene. He'll be unkept. Time would get away from him every day. Anytime he's trying to accomplish anything, he couldn't spend money on dates or anything because he was always spending money on the marijuana. And when he doesn't have the money for it, then he's over emotional, over upset. Anything that happens that he doesn't like, he'll explode because of that, because of not having that fix. However, after losing her and losing that relationship, that made him rethink about his decisions and his substance use. So sometimes, maybe a big situation happens to make you rethink what you're doing and how you're treating people. Our next person is a Caucasian lady. She discussed how she would smoke when she is, feeling down and unmotivated. But at some point in her life, she was able to bounce back. But then somebody in her life passed away and took a hit of weed before a space movie, and after that sent her into a huge, she was smoking before, but it didn't get to the point where it really affected her mental health until she had this big panic attack, and she was having an outer body experience, and to the point where she's in and out, getting tunnel vision. Her parents, she's feeling like she's dying, so she's spilling her whole guts to her family and apologizing and being mean to her parents and not being a better person. So, she's having a whole moment and going through it. So in those moments, that kind of helped her, get in gear about, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Our next person is going to be a African American woman. She mentioned graduating school and started smoking due to her job stressing her out. And since it stressed her out on a consistent basis, her smoking increased. Because she often had the mindset of taking everything serious, so she needed the marijuana to help calm herself down. And when going out on her free time, she went to parties to smoke, but felt sad. Moving and wanting to go back to marijuana. But after quitting, she still had that urge to go back to marijuana because she went from California to, I believe, Maryland. Because she wanted to leave all that behind her. She wanted to leave marijuana behind. But she couldn't get rid of the sadness from moving and adjusting. So she ended up going back to marijuana. Her sister was trying to encourage her not to do it, but she wasn't listening to her, and she wanted to do what she wanted to do. Because she felt like things were out of her control at this new place. And our next substance we're going to be going over is tobacco. We're going to start with a Caucasian male. She reported being addicted to the smell, the taste of tobacco, wake up thinking about smoking, feeling angry, not smoking, and needed motivation to stop. And his motivation was getting his singing voice back because, people who smoke cigarettes, sometimes their voice changes or it affects their voice and being ability to sing. And our next person is going to be a Caucasian lady from Romania. She reported that she skipped school one day and went with her friend and the popular kids. And she always looked up to the popular kids. But she never smoked before and never really wanted to smoke. However, due to seeing the popular girls and wanted to be around them, and they ended up offering her, a cigarette to smoke, she ended up smoking. And she ended up smoking with them again more than once. So having that bonding time and becoming popular, she got caught up in the substance. Due to her getting that attention. And even that when she first did it, she didn't really like it. But she kept trying to do it. To feel a part of the group. And they cheered her on and, telling her that she could do it. So that kind of got her caught up. To the point where she had a hard time getting rid of it, so she would smoke pretty often due to that, and had to work on kicking her substance use. But I think she was still smoking because she said, actually, she didn't stop. She continued. Yeah, she was one of the people that continued. She didn't stop smoking. She was smoking while I was watching her video. So, yeah, she just talked about when she started and why she started. It was due to that attention and popularity, and because she used to not be popular and not speak up for herself and not, get any attention from anybody. So she got two highs in one, with tobacco and with the popularity and the attention. Our next person is a Caucasian woman. I think she was from the U.S. She reported starting in the summer due to being curious about smoking, and enjoyed the buzz from it, and she has a low tolerance, so every time she smokes, she has to sit down due to that. So she wouldn't smoke too much, but she would only smoke maybe once or twice a day at best due to her low tolerance. So maybe once before work and once after work. Our next substance is going to be caffeine. And our person is going to be a Caucasian male, I believe from maybe the U.S. He reported being sleepy during math class and not focusing due to him staying up all night on the game. And his mom kind of suggested that he drink, coffee in the morning. And due to that, he started drinking coffee every morning, every day. And he reported wanting to quit, but it got real challenging for him to quit. So he stopped. Excuse me. And then he ended up being addicted to other things, so he wanted to kick that. And his last thing he needed to get rid of was caffeine. So he came back to try to kick it. But during the withdrawals, he would struggle with grogginess, lack of focus, felt like something was missing, having wandering thoughts, having headaches, and was about to quit because of all that going on at once. It's like, yo, this is too much. I might as well just keep drinking coffee. However, once he got to 2 to 3 months of not drinking any caffeine, he started feeling better and his sleep started improving as well. Our next person is going to be an African American woman from the U.S. She discussed drinking coffee in high school due to her best friend who would give her coffee every day. To the point where she started to like the taste, and in college she would take it with her in a mug. So she'll, her drinking coffee got part of her daily morning routine. To the point to where she brought an espresso machine and never skipped a day of drinking coffee. To the point where she didn't notice it was an issue until there was a snowstorm in their area, and she went out anyway to drive to Starbucks to get coffee. So that's how serious it was. So she often, that made her rethink about how coffee was controlling her. And when she tried to stop, she would get migraines trying to stop, and then increase. And she started feeling, depressed and feeling like coffee and caffeine was part of her life and that she had nothing to look forward to. because she would use coffee in every type of way, to the point where she was bargaining with her, bargaining for the coffee. However, once she got through her withdrawals, everything got better with her sleep schedule, and it allowed her to deal with her emotions better as well after going through the withdrawals. Because when you're kind of high off the caffeine, it's kind of hard to deal with your emotions or deal with the things that you need to heal from. And she also has support from her spouse as well. Our next person is going to be a Caucasian lady. She mentioned understanding that coffee was causing her anxiety. And she was drinking coffee as a kid and tea. To the point where I think at certain points, I guess just seeing how much you would drink it and, get consumed by it. And our next person is going to be a Asian male. And he said that he couldn't get out of bed. So he had problems getting out of bed, could not focus, would drink almost 8 cups a day. His sleep was off. His mood was off. He would feel tired often, make bad decisions. Struggling with his business. And he just got tired of it. He just got tired of all these things going on. And noticed nothing was helping him improve. So he worked on quitting caffeine. He went through the no motivation for a good bit, but after that, everything started improving and he started feeling better. Our last substance is going to be the opioids. So, and we only have one person, which is a Caucasian lady who discusses that she was in a bad car accident, which put her on painkillers, which got her addicted to them. And she would wake up in the hospital. She was taking 20 pills a day, so that's a lot. She would often cry in bed, had another car accident because of her being high off the opioids. And since she got in that accident, that made her not want to take any more pills because she didn't want to get in any more accidents. She wanted to drive coherently. So that made her want to stop. So we definitely heard everybody's stories about addiction, and I guess we'll just go over a little bit on how when people are addicted, it's almost like they can't see anything but their addiction. They can't do anything but focus on that. So that takes away from the relationship. That takes away from connecting for the people. That takes away from taking care of themselves and the things they got to take care of every day. So, having that base of understanding that it's almost like they're out of control of themselves, and them being sober, that's them getting back control so that they could focus on taking care of themselves and the people around them. and everybody has their trauma and their reasons from starting the substances, or just the curiosity because they started. But also something has also happened to make them want to stop as well. And we can't make them want to stop. They have to choose that. They have to want to stop and get better and do better for themselves. With this, nothing we can force. It's all about when they're ready, and are they going to take the actions to be consistent to heal. And hopefully they do. Hopefully, we'll provide people more support and show them that we're going to be there to help them, no matter what. Yeah. So yeah, this will definitely check in for this video. Of course, we're going to be supporting a Black-owned business, and that is going to be Pull Up. It's a card game. It's a card drinking game that revolves around the college experience of HBCU students and Black students. So definitely, and it's a pretty fun game for people. So they give you shot cards, shot glasses. That was pretty cool. So I'll definitely put their information in the description below, and definitely support the musician who did the intro and outro of my video, the person who worked on my avatar, and of course myself. I'm a clinical social worker for the state of Maryland who provides individual, couples, and family therapy. So if you're interested, definitely check everything out in the description and send me an email. It's okay. So we'll definitely check back in, and y'all definitely have a good rest of the night and a good rest of the week.
And